Hi, my name is Amy and we're here at Yoga Grow, our studio in Fredericton, and this is my assistant Sherry. Today I would like to touch on some movements, mostly strength-based, that can help any symptoms that may happen in your knees. So it's a general knee stability video. It focuses again more on strength. Stretches can be shown at a later time, but this is really to bring muscles together so the leg itself feels supportive. Oftentimes there can be some slack in the glutes, sort of in the hip, the upper muscles, that contribute to pain and just a lack of confidence in your knees. So we'll show plenty of things that will help you with that. In my opinion, these movements are so simple that you could do them daily, maybe 5 times a week, just if you really want to work on getting your knees to do more thinking and just work more efficiently for you. So try them out. I hope that you enjoy. I'll get Sherry to come into mountain pose. And at home and here, you can just close your eyes for a moment. And just consider your feet going down almost lower than the floorboards. So there's a real heaviness to your footprint. And the best way to recreate or to reroute your body is to have no real preference in your body. So by that I mean you're not more forward on the toes, you're not particularly more back on the heels, you're evenly weighted in right and left foot. You'd be surprised if you close your eyes and feel that out, how common it is to have one foot that's a little bit heavier. So just absolutely distribute the work of that. So this pose can tell you a lot. So here's mountain pose. And then from here, Sherry's going to show us what I call cloud breath. So you can use it with the breath. When you inhale, take the right knee up off the floor. Your arms can go up overhead. It's a bit of an extended mountain in your body. You get a good body stretch. And then you're just there for a second to experience it. You can use an exhale to come back down to mountain pose right where we were. If the breath is confusing for you, just be sure to breathe. She'll use an inhale for the other side. Try to flex the toes a little bit. And then an exhale to come back down. Keep moving through that at your own pace. So as mentioned, what this pose, this is more of a conditioning or more of a mobility, depending on who you're talking to, but Sherry's moving in and out of something. So it creates heat, which is nice. But it's also a big assessment because it's so asymmetrical. You can notice if you're a little wobbly on one leg, which might indicate some ankle weakness, or if your hip gives out on you, that type of thing, or maybe you just feel tight from one side to the other. So there's some beauty in that. Just recognizing your body one side at a time is very valuable. Okay. Bring the right knee up and we'll just hold this one. So this is your time to refine. You can spread those right toes. Yeah, toes towards shin. So there's some power in the lower part of the leg. And now lace your hands around the front of the right knee. What happens there is her hands get heavy, her chest can sort of blow up and get more open. And she teaches her leg to go into her body. Leg as in the thigh bone itself. A cue that you might think of when you do this at home on your own is this right hip being fish hooked back and in. So you're giving your thigh bone, you're giving your femur a place to live. You're taking it into your body. And in that case, you make the muscles think. They want to hold your bone up. So that's a really wonderful pose. Land that down. And then go right into the other side. Float it up. And then find your grip on your knee and just refine it. So this is a very simple one-legged pose that we don't play around with very often. We don't find ourselves day to day in one-legged poses, but that doesn't really matter because we experience traumas throughout our life, so you have to do creative things to correct them. You need to hang out on one foot every so often. Very good for you. And then come on back down. Still working with some asymmetry, nothing fancy. We'll just go right into a crescent lunge. So I'll get you to step your left leg back. So the right knee bends, and then bring your arms up over your head. So Sherry is showing us a crescent lunge, and I just want to outline that her right leg is, in this moment, is not so different than where it just was. But now she has this huge benefit of the feedback of the floor. So the floor finds her right foot. We think about mountain pose, there's no preference in the foot. It's using all of the toes, the heel, you've got a nice ankle, you have a nice stacking of the bones. And then in our details, we think of the fishhook, so your thigh is in your body, which you've got really good. You can bend a little bit more into that front knee. So, oftentimes we get inner knee pain, so we're using outer hip muscle to take the collapse out of this part of our leg. If you really want to detail that, think about a heavy right big toe, a spiral that even muscles up from the shin and drags her knee out in my direction, and then sucks the hip back. So her leg is sort of neutral, it's not really swaying from one side to the other, but your muscles are capturing that so much, just keeping your leg steady but into your body. Okay, and then to come out of that, you can just slowly come back to mountain pose. Good. And then just go right into the other side. So key points, your foot awareness. You can start it from the bottom as you get a little bit more of a seal in the left big toe. You might close your eyes as you feel this little spiral happen from big toe to outer knee. So your outer body is really doing some work. That outer knee continues to outer hip. So it's all this nice piece that supports you so that you take any tension out of the inside of the knee. Really good awareness, because you can just fall into this pose and have it worth nothing. If you're doing it like this, you'll be heated and you'll be stable in the knee and in the hip. So that is your crescent lunge. You can come back to mountain pose. As mentioned, that crescent lunge, we got to use some feedback from the floor, and now we're going to move to the wall. So I just have two poses to show you. In crescent lunge, we had more of a neutral leg that was very simply supported. It was muscled just by being there in that straight linear line. We're going to use more external rotation, more deliberate glute work for warrior two and triangle, both at the wall. Warrior two and then triangle at the wall. So Sherry has come to the wall. She'll do just a star stance to set it up. And a simple alignment is just heels under wrists, just to give yourself an idea of how long the leg stance can be. And then straighten to the right side for warrior two. Your toes turn out. Your feet will not be and do not need to be against the wall, because you need to make room for your body shape. But you can start with some feedback in your upper body as the pinky edge, sort of the blade of your hand, leans into the wall. Your middle back might lean back as well. So just really soak up all the benefits that you can of having a wall behind you. You can lean back a touch, but what we're really looking for, the hips are open, which is different from our crescent lunge. So we're getting just a little bit more power in the ability to turn the knee out towards the wall. So the thigh will hopefully get close to or be against that right wall. And that'll give you some feedback of where you're trying to muscle the leg. So strength on the outside, relief on the inside of the knee. There is a similar thing happening for the back thigh. There's a basic lift of her right kneecap. And she also has a backwards pressure of that back thigh into the wall. So that's warrior two. Good to go right into triangle? Mm-hmm. Okay, in triangle, our right leg becomes straight and she works forward. And then voila. So both legs experience a straight stance. In that case, we're using a touch more quads, just the big front muscle in general. She uses the wall to lean back, which she is doing already. And there's more attention for this left thigh. This gets some big benefit here as you roll the left hip open and pressurize your hips back. So the knees are productively strong as you gulp the strength up into your hips. So nice contracted leg muscles. And just use the wall to let it feel open and strong. And you can soften the front knee. Maybe you look down to come back up to warrior two. And then just take a star stance. If you need to sort of wiggle out the legs or take a mini break, feel free to do that. And then it's straight into the other side. Simply turn the toes out. Warrior two. Utilize the wall. Use up all the benefits of leaning back, slicing the hands into the wall behind you. Looks good. And you just move the front knee closer towards the wall. You use the outer thigh muscle to clarify the inside of the knee. Outer thigh strength inner thigh relief. And again, there's benefit in the back thigh as you teach your hip to open a little further. So that's your warrior two on the side. Triangle means front leg straightens, body juts forward, and then you come into the shape. And again, both legs are straight, so there's more quad influence, more front thigh, in addition to the glute strength that you've already accumulated. So very nice for your knee relief, and just a really great feedback to have a wall behind you. And come on back up. And then just relax. So that is your routine. You begin in a strong mountain pose. You do your cloud breath for an assessment. Your crescent lunge taught you just a basic stability, and then warrior two and triangle opened you up a touch more. So think about the whole leg when you're considering how to help your knees out. So give that sequence a try, and thank you for joining me at Yoga Grow and Massage by A.Murphy.